Battle through the firmament. Grand World. Chapter 376 Healing Artifact. With his outstanding soul strength, Xiaoyan was able to see the changes in Zhu Tianhou with a single glance. The fire source within Zhu Tianhou's body was even more vigorous. There seemed to be a raging fire burning within his danshan, connecting his limbs and bones. The origin monarch qi was unimpeded within his body. There were flames lingering around his 4 limbs and 5 internal organs. They were like a fire line that gathered between his eyebrows. Xiaoyan. Zhu Tianhou's voice was slightly hoarse when he saw Xiaoyan. He stood up from the ground. His eyes were like blades as they pierced towards Lu Xiangyang, who was beside Xiaoyan. An endless killing intent was revealed in his eyes. Another one has come. After being hit by Zhu Tianhou's strongest attack, the blood flame scaled beast's strength had weakened by a lot. There was a deep tiredness hidden in his blood-red eyes. His already severely injured body had become even weaker now. Lu Xiangyang. Zhu Tianhou's expression suddenly became ferocious. He could clearly see that Xiaoyan had snatched the 2 blue Lu Xiangyangs from Lu Xiangyang's hands and crushed them. If he had been one step late, given his current condition, he really wouldn't have been able to dodge it. He heard Zhu Tianhou's low roar that was filled with killing intent. Lu Xiangyang's face turned pale all of a sudden. He looked at Xiaoyan who was standing beside him, and endless despair welled up in his heart. He had never thought that he would meet this bastard here. You went there. The competition in Realm in Valley has been brought forward. Now is the time for competition. After interrupting Zhu Tianhou's anger, Xiaoyan waved his hand and said, there was no need to get angry with someone like Lu Xiangyang. To the current Xiaoyan, he was more concerned about how much strength Zhu Tianhou had improved. Early, recovering his thoughts, Zhu Tianhou frowned. Before he could say anything, the blood flame scaled beast not far away had already rushed towards the location of the heavenly spring. Although he was unwilling, in order to deal with these 2 guys, he had to drink a few mouthfuls of the spring water to quickly heal his injuries. Don't let it drink that spring water. After regaining his senses, Zhu Tianhou's expression changed slightly. If the blood flame scaled beast's injuries were healed, it would be even more difficult to seriously injure it again. Hearing Zhu Tianhou's low roar, Xiaoyan's mind moved, and his body suddenly sped forward. In the blink of an eye, he had covered a distance of a few meters. Boom! Force directly sent the latter flying. It smashed into the rock wall in the distance. For a moment, gravel shot in all directions, and dust rolled. Humph! Stopping, Xiaoyan took a look at the spring water and frowned slightly. His speed was still a little slower, allowing the blood flame scaled beast to drink a large mouthful of the spring water. What great strength! Seeing the massive body of the blood flame scaled beast being sent flying by Xiaoyan, Zhu Tianhou's heart skipped a beat, and an indescribable feeling welled up in his heart. In the intense battle between him and the blood flame scaled beast just now, although his fists had hit the flesh, his strength was obviously far inferior to Xiaoyan's. Initially, he thought that after he had comprehended the sacred spirit fire body, his strength wouldn't be any weaker than the latter. But now, it seemed like the gap between them was still very obvious. Lu Xiangyang's face turned the color of a pig's liver. Xiaoyan's punch had caused him to tremble continuously. Both of his legs had turned soft. With this kind of strength, he was definitely not a match for Xiaoyan. Clenching his fist, Xiaoyan nodded his head in satisfaction. The successful cultivation of the second style of the profound martial arts had improved his physical strength. With the integration of the Heaven's Limit Fist and the Sky Spill Fist, Xiaoyan was quite satisfied with the power of this punch. Buzz! After being sent flying by Xiaoyan's punch, the blood flame scaled beast roared out from the pile of crushed stones. The injuries on his body had fully recovered, and his ki had been strengthened. With a slight flash, his huge body arrived next to Xiaoyan, and the huge claw slashed horizontally. The force was so great that it was enough to shatter a mountain. Xiaoyan did not dare to slight the blood flame scaled beast. Numerous turtle shell-like cracks appeared on the surface of his body. He moved his feet gently and dodged the huge claw of the former. A tail full of strength suddenly broke through the air and violently struck Xiaoyan's chest. After jumping a few times in the air and removing the force, Xiaoyan landed firmly on the ground. The tail hit caused the clothes on his chest to be torn apart, but there wasn't a single mark on his skin. An astonishing defensive power. The red light in the blood flame scaled beast's eyes flickered, but his heart was bleeding. He had just drunk a large mouthful of the spring water, which had greatly weakened the effect of the heavenly spring of extreme will. It would be extremely difficult for him to use it to restore his peak strength and transform into a human form. Damned brat, King is going to kill you. Fury rose in his heart. The blood flame scaled beast crazily rushed towards Xiaoyan and launched a storm-like attack. Its sharp claws slashed across the air, causing the air to buzz and vibrate. The sound that entered one's ears was enough to send shivers down one's spine. Lu Xiangyang looked at Xiaoyan, who was fighting the blood flame scaled beast, with a frightened expression. Even when faced with the blood flame scaled beast, which had recovered its strength, the latter was even more calm than Zhu Tianhou. The defense of his body was even more shocking. Even though he had exchanged injuries with the blood flame scaled beast, he was still not at a disadvantage. A monstrous genius. A monstrous genius. The roars in his heart kept filling his mind. Finally, Lu Xiangyang couldn't help but turn around and leave quietly. With Zhu Tianhou by his side, there was no hope for him to take the opportunity to launch a sneak attack. He could only pray that the blood flame scaled beast could unleash its divine might and kill both of them here. Seeing Lu Xiangyang leave, Zhu Tianhou hesitated for a moment, but he still gave up on chasing after him. He turned his eyes back to the man and beast who were fighting fiercely not far away. The more he looked at them, the more shocked he became. The strength that Xiaoyan had displayed at this moment had far surpassed the strength of the inner courtyard competition. He didn't seem to be at a disadvantage when fighting with the blood flame scaled beast. That spring water. After regaining his senses, Zhu Tianhou looked at a pool of spring water not far away. He could clearly see the miraculous effects of the spring water from the blood flame scaled beast. Clenching his teeth, Zhu Tianhou rushed towards the pool of spring water. Taking advantage of the blood flame scaled beast being entangled, he picked it up and drank it into his stomach. When the spring water entered his stomach, Zhu Tianhou immediately felt a cool feeling surge up from his danshan. The vigorous flame in his body seemed to have been nourished. The injuries on his body were unexpectedly healed. They were recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Xiaoyan, let me help you. Zhu Tianhou cried out in a low voice. All the strength in his body had been recovered. His body moved gently and rushed towards the blood flame scaled beast. The flames in his hand were spat out. They agglomerated into a fire blade that was aimed at the latter's neck. With Zhu Tianhou's help, Xiaoyan also had some time to relax. His body leaped and he withdrew from the battleground. He looked at the lively Zhu Tianhou with some surprise. He couldn't help but click his tongue in surprise, then he took a deep breath. Although the battle with the blood flame scaled beast appeared to be on par with each other, it was quite difficult. Even with the protection of the black tortoise dragon rock wall, every collision still caused unbearable pain. Xiaoyan's eyes flickered. He did not hesitate any longer. Flames rose from his hands. The two monic flames swallowed and spat as they were about to merge together. Xiaoyan, don't destroy that spring water. Using his body to the extreme, he narrowly avoided the attack of the blood flame scaled beast. Zhu Tianhou was startled and shouted in a low voice. The effect of the spring water was comparable to a healing medicine. It was better than all the recovery medicine pills he had seen before. It would be a great regret if it was destroyed just like that. Hearing Zhu Tianhou's warning, Xiaoyan was slightly startled. Then, he chuckled and said, "Don't worry." He had already memorized the integration of the Buddha Fury Fire Lotus. His control of strength had already reached perfection. Last time, he had relied on the aura of the fire lotus to attract the blood flame scaled beast. This time, he would use it to kill it completely. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.